In every single city where the EV Reality Check has been, it is powered by GreenCars.com, and the GreenCars team is in every city alongside the booth. And we're joined right now by Taylor Faust. You are with GreenCars. You are pretty much the go-to man in every city for GreenCars. You kind of run the show when you guys are on the road, but there's more to what you do.
Yeah, that's true, Matt. No, it's a pleasure to be here and always talking with you. And I'm sitting in the crowd, and I'm getting educated as we speak. So I'm really fortunate, to be a part of this.
Well, you guys have built out an approach to explaining what people can shop for when it comes to plug-in cars. GreenCars as the brand, but this approach is coming from the perspective of the dealers that are selling these cars, and GreenCars is part of that network through a dealer network to make sure that when someone's shopping, they can go into a showroom and not only get the answers online, but then obviously get answers when they go and shop.
Yeah, so Lithia Driveway, we're backed by about 500 dealerships internationally. 2020 came around and there was quite a few concerns, but also questions around electrification and the incentives that are involved, the next charging station, and we represent 52 different brands, so we had to bring it all together, and that's when our CEO visionary came up with GreenCars.com and tasked a small amount of people to start working on it. We used it within our dealer network to educate us, so we had a better consumer experience for our customers, and then we're now bringing it out to the real world, and it's growing, and it's really awesome to see.
Again, a big part of what we talked about this weekend is about that meet the customer where they are, and that's a big part of the customer journey is thinking about, okay, when you're getting them into that top of funnel, they got questions, you got to provide them answers. Expo's been showcasing that's still it's a fundamental aspect to making sure that EV adoption continues to grow.
Yeah. So, maybe speak to what some of the goals and things that you address in your booth here, and what are some of the questions you take? What's the day in the booth at Electrify Expo look like?
So first and foremost, we're all based around education. So we sponsored the larger booth here, the 40x40, to basically have the best key speakers. I mean, Randy's here, does an excellent job of bringing in local people who can help the customer understand what they're wanting to buy, what will fit their needs, their lifestyles, and expand it to their families, which is what GreenCars needs to be wrapped around. We also have a smaller booth. We have a Volkswagen VW Buzz in there, kind of showcasing the diversity of different models. So we knew Volkswagen wasn't going to be here. It's unfortunate, but at least we can show the iconic Buzz. And then we also have a few micro-mobility options as well. So really leaning into the optionality factor. Again, 52 different brands. We have to cater not only to one, and we can't be biased. We can't say, Honda has the best. Well, Prologue, that's GM, but
it's still got the Honda badge on it, right?
It's got the Honda badge. We can't say, well, that's the best. No, we have to say, hey, this one might be a better fit for your lifestyle because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, it would make sense that you would just focus on the features and benefits of each product,
right?
Because the consumer is going to look at what's of interest of them. You narrow in on that, and you're guiding them through that journey about what it looks like to drive it, to own it, to the cost behind owning it, all of that, what the experience looks like.
And you bring up a great point, too, as you mentioned Honda, just as an example, as a branded product, is there's a lot of people that, when the Prologue came out, there's a lot of consumers that kept looking at the electrification space and thinking, like, what are the brands that I find to be synonymous with advanced technology, efficiency, and they are, again, something that is on the bleeding edge. A lot of these companies who are coming out with EVs, some of these consumers were saying, I'm actually going to wait until the brand that I've driven forever that I find to be the one I want, I'm going to wait till they come out. So the Prologue's a good example of that once these brands finally go from just kind of being on the periphery to saying we're going to actually launch something that is a branded product under our umbrella, then the Prologue, as an example, when it came out, it did really, really well when it first hit the market because people that were Honda purists and loyalists, they were waiting for that. So as GreenCars and as again, Lithia Driveway, you're representing those 52 brands. So it might be that some of those buyers are accustomed to those brands, but some have been still waiting. But now those 52 brands are starting to showcase that, no, we've actually got a lot of options to show you now.
Yeah, and then, there's the operational side, too. So as a dealer network, we'll buy 30 stores within vicinity, let's say in Detroit, and it's a whole new fueling, new type of fuel. So basically, we buy the 30 stores, but then we start to realize, hey, there's no charging station nearby. Right. And so we have 30 brands here that are selling electric cars, but they're not set up for success. So as a network, we're kind of we're able to go in and kind of be a little more efficient in that aspect.
Well, yeah, a lot of these automakers they go out to their franchise dealer network and they say, okay, we want you to do X, Y, and Z to prepare yourself. They have educational information as well, but not every automaker is providing the same type of information. And if you're a Lithia store, you might actually be working at a Lithia store for one brand and then go over to another one the next year,
right,
the next season.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, I actually had more information when I was representing that store than this one. That's why a holistic and agnostic approach to explaining and providing resources is so fundamental to the dealer network, because it isn't just a one-size-fits-all from the automaker side of it, because there are differences with these models and you have to have the answers for all of them.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to kind of conquer all of that and to know which brand is doing what, which one's pivoting. I mean, I was hearing rumors that maybe the F-150 Lightning might be stop production.
Or they're reevaluating. And it's the best-selling electric truck in America.
It's mind-blowing, but at the same time, we have to be able to answer the questions before our dealerships start saying, hey, what's going on? Well, how do we pivot? And it goes for used too. I mean, we could touch on that a little bit. We're the largest used seller of Teslas in the nation.
Wow.
As a dealer network. So
that's crazy.
We pull them in and, mark them to what the market is, and then resell them, but our sales staff need to be able to answer what Tesla answers when the car was first sold.
Well, and that's a valid point, because there's a lot of discussion that happened at that first purchase for a Tesla in a Tesla showroom.
Yeah.
That the sales reps at another showroom that are selling one used, they're going to say, we didn't have those same tools.
Oh yeah,
we've been selling cars that run on gasoline for a long time, and you want answers about the one that runs on electricity. How do we do that? And this is, again, so much of this weekend has revolved around education, communication, and how we improve upon that. But when you have a dealer network that's investing into making sure that getting information in front of people, top of funnel and in the showroom in a combined fashion, that's where the conversation has to start, because we have to have the stakeholders that are talking to the customers directly all the time invested in the process of education.
Yeah, and it's fun. We all have a lot of fun with it. GreenCars is a brand that's supposed to be fun, but I mean, we're starting to see used Lucids now. We're starting to see the used Rivians come into inventory, and we have to have those conversations of like, hey, what does autopilot look like when a Tesla comes in? Is it transferable to the next car, to the next customer? Depends,
And what's the narrative around the used vehicle? Obviously, if you've got a Rivian in inventory, that could be a red flag for a prospective buyer, because man, there's not many of these on the roads, or they're just getting out into market. I mean, obviously they're out there, but at the same time, wow, why did this person offload this
It's not
vehicle?
3 years old, it's 1 year old kind of thing.
Like 1 year. Why did someone offload it? No, that's a really a valid point. The best part, and I keep going back to the network, we can start shuttling them into a market where we know Rivians sell the best. So maybe we get one in the outskirts of Missoula, Montana, when everyone's like, what do we do? Well, we put it on a transfer truck and we bring it to Dallas, That's where we can leverage our ability to kind of use the network. But it's fascinating to see the year-old Rivians. Maybe someone just didn't fit their lifestyle again, and they come in and they want an Escalade or something like that.
And that's what you're speaking to as well, is that people buy cars all the time for an emotional reason. Mm-hmm. It's like, I just want that thing. I thought it was cool. I had a friend that had one. Who knows? And people will justify buying cars for a variety of different reasons. And some people will buy them because they just wanted to try it out.
Yeah. Well, the technical side, people are almost treating the cars like phones now.
Yeah.
It's really. So like the buyer doesn't want to keep it for 5 to 8 years. They're saying, well, I want the new tech, so I'm gonna get a lease. We're finding out leases for EVs are huge. We do a 24-month or a 36-month lease, and then they'll go in and they're like, hey, the autopilot's better, the cameras are newer, and I want that.
Yeah, cool. I will upgrade. Thank you.
I will upgrade. Yeah. So the used inventory market, I mean, it's going to be huge.
And what we're seeing now too is that we've got a lot of vehicles that were leased in the last few years because of exactly what you described. Is people just kind of saying, I want to try this out. As more used EVs hit the market, that's where education is so fundamental. Because if you have a dealership that has, let's say, 10 used EVs on the lot from 10 different brands, 10 different models, you have to be able to speak eloquently to, this is how this one will meet your need, this one might not meet your need, and this is exactly how it'll work for you as a buyer.
Well, and we're running into, so our articles are becoming 2 to 3 years old because the GreenCars brand is growing, evolving, and we're wondering, do we take that, is that content relevant?
Yeah,
because
that's a good point.
The cars, are still going to be out there. They're going to be used. So we're really having to reevaluate what's relevant, getting new content out there, but actually like repurposing what we have.
Like archived reviews of a car. It's like no, this technology is still what that car has, even though this is a 3-year-old car, 3-year-old article.
Yeah.
But someone's buying that thing today for the first time because why? It came off lease.
Off lease. Yeah.
Same values that it had on the front end have carried forward because it is a technology, but the idea, like to your point of the cell phone analogy, there's always those that want to be ahead of the curve when it comes to technology, latest, greatest, that mindset.
Well, and the other thing, too, is we talk about the tech being everything under the skin, right? We talked about batteries this weekend. We've talked about software a little bit. And that's something that I think a lot of people, they treat technology like you were talking about, like, oh, they're getting a new cell phone. Like, I want the latest and greatest. But some of these vehicles that have come out, they are really maintaining their functionality in a way. It's like, look, I mean, Bolts, for example. The Bolt came out in 2017. That thing it was produced for about 5 years. They're bringing it back in 2027. It's upgraded in a variety of ways. But even Bolts that are used that might have 100,000 miles on their batteries, these are still phenomenal cars that cost $40,000 brand new. You can get a used one now. I mean, what are you guys seeing for used EV prices?
I mean, maybe in the teens,
Yeah.
And we're starting to see Model 3s. I mean, again, in the teens. So we're working with a couple stores in Vegas actually right now, and he's like, hey, I can have a used car lot and have that price point, and I can take on the world basically, and it's all kind of a game of where we can situate ourselves, but GreenCars helps our company in that aspect. It's
so fundamental because the way the world works of automotive in North America, especially the United States, is it is an OEM product. The OEM produces it, and they hand that to the dealership and say, we rely on the franchise dealer network to get these sales happening. And the discussion we've had all weekend about these things that people are learning about for each of these cars, it is about the personal use case of the car you select, and also about how your life is. That is hey, I have street park, or maybe I don't. And that's that sales channel that has to be discussed, whether it's a new or used EV, is navigating people through those questions.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, Matt.
Well, I'm not always right. But it's like that.
Most of the time.
It's the Charles Barkley thing. I referenced Charles Barkley today, his old book. I may be wrong, but I doubt it. I mean, give it up to Chuck, man. Like, I mean, I'm glad when TNT booted those guys and they're like, no, we're going to keep the four together. I was like, thank you, Lord. But to that point, there's a lot of discussion that happens in this space where we, as the people that are in the industry, we have a lot of discussions about what we know is right. How do we get that translated out? There's a lot of misconceptions still out there, but that's why the EV Reality Check booth exists, and that's why you guys sponsored it, was because this is so key to people that show up at Expo to have these conversations, is they have to hear this from the horse's mouth.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, we sell almost 1 million cars a year. 10% of that is around EV battery electric vehicles, including some hybrids, but it's only growing. And as a network, we want to show that we're embracing it, but then we also, in turn, we want to make money, so we want to move the metal,
Moving metal is fundamental if you're at a showroom. It's like you do not want a birthday car.
Yeah, and the manufacturers, they're really smart. They get incentivized by certain initiatives, and they incentivize us. So they say, hey, if you turn a couple battery electric vehicles, we'll give you a couple more hybrids or something like that. And so
that's important to point out, though, because the people that are going, oftentimes we discuss, like, how do people graduate into owning a pure electric car? And a big part about that is I joke about it, it's like the lily pad and the frog jumping across the pond. It's like,
Jump to a hybrid.
I got a gas car. I'm going to go to a hybrid. It's just gas, but wow, is it more efficient? I'm going to try that plug-in hybrid on that next lily pad because I have a house, and oh my gosh, I only bought gas 3 times this year. That's amazing. So I'm going to hop to that pure EV. If they then say, I know I can road trip with this, it's about comfort zone into that fuel transition. And to your point, the automakers, they're not all fully electric yet, but if they can still get people into efficient vehicles that lower carbon footprints, that's a big part of those steps in the right direction.
Right. And I travel quite a bit. I flew into here. Gas is $2.65, at least from one of the stations I saw. In Oregon, I mean, you live there, where, what, $4 or $5 a gallon?
I drive by the gas stations. I haven't stopped at one in forever. But to your point, though, it's like, oh, whoa, that's $4.10 for regular, $4.30 for premium. And you start doing the math in your head, and you're like, I mean, my wife and I've talked about it. We have saved thousands of dollars not driving a gas car.
So is my family. So, I mean, huge advocate for that. I mean, I have a Tesla Model S. I love it. But I rented a Hummer, one of the H3s, the smaller ones. They're supposed to be fuel efficient in a sense. Still was $120 to fill up.
Whoa!
Tesla Model S, $15 for me.
No, and that again, people's wallets are where decisions are made.
Well, I got bullied yesterday because on one of the sessions I made a comment about not being aware of gas costs because I'm fully electric, both vehicles, and I don't really know what gas is. Haven't been to a gas station, at least for fuel, and got a little bullied about that. It's like, quit bragging.
You spoiled.
Yeah, quit bragging. I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't have to pay $60 for fuel.
But that is one of the best benefits of owning an EV, and that's so the transparency of pricing on fuel is so important because here in Texas, for example, price per gallon compared to places like Oregon, there's a vast difference there.
Kind of nice, yeah.
But at the same time, energy in Texas also, if we're talking solar and other things like that, there's a variety of energy sources here in Texas where even electricity is also very cheap. We're talking, in some instances, it's like 9 cents a kilowatt hour. Yeah. That's cheaper than Oregon. So this is where we have a lot to do left as it relates to explaining how and where people can find this information. So kind of rounding things out, again, GreenCars.com by name, people know where to find it, I guess. What other places that can Green Cars be found, the people when they have questions to reach you guys?
I mean, any social, Instagram. Our website's the biggest one, so we obviously get about 1 million people a month on that website, and the goal is just to educate on the marketing channel, and then answer any questions that they have, but we're unbiased and we answer the tough questions, so it's a really valid resource for a new car buyer, electric car buyer.
Perfect. Jason, anything we missed?
No, just thanks for sponsoring the EV reality check space. This is an important part, the educational aspect, and appreciate your
100%.
Your insight on seeing the value, because it really does take education, information, dispelling myths, and working through the noise to really understand and underscore the value that EV brings.
That's it. That's it. Well, if you can hear our voices, this is the EV reality check. It is sponsored and powered by GreenCars.com.